Welcome to Riga, Latvia, a country that used to be part of the USSR, the former Soviet Union. It got its independence in 1991. This is a very unique location. On the south, you have Lithuania. On the north, you have Estonia. And just on the east of this country, you have Mother Russia. This is a diverse country that is part of the United Nations, the European Union, and NATO. So it has quite a colorful history and a bloody one as well. So instead of just showing you some of the restaurants and the places that you must visit when you come over here, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to be telling you a little bit of the history of this country, so you learn some of the things that you may not necessarily hear about.
So I was around 7-8 years old when Soviet Union time collapsed.
So I'm going to be taking you off the beaten path.
A lot of people were embarked on trains at this station. This was the last stop.
So we're also going to be visiting the KGB house, which was the place where the KGB carried investigations, prosecutions, and ultimately performed the death penalty. Anybody that was deemed questioning or going against the communist regime was interrogated, and many of them were assassinated. To anyone that was suspected of going against the Soviet Union. Welcome to Riga.
Almost 50% of our men are alcoholics. It's very sad. We have the highest consumption of alcohol in the European Union.
First, if you come to Riga, visit Old Town, but don't necessarily stay there or eat there, because things are, it seems like double the price?
Double the price and double the waiting time.
Yes, so I have, a great local with me that has been helpful, and I let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Ines Elizabeth, and I'm a local, but I do consider myself to be a global Latvian, because I lived abroad 7 years in Norway, half year in London, and I traveled. I spent quite a lot of time in Spain and Jordan.
Yeah.
So I think that qualifies as being a global Latvian.
Okay.
And now I moved back to Latvia 5 years ago, and I'm making the best out of my experience.
Where did you move from?
I moved back from Norway.
What's the big difference between Norway and Latvia for people who have never been to either?
I mean, my Norwegian friends gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna quote what my son, who was 9 years then when we moved back from Norway, said. After we moved back, he said, "Mom, people here are more alive."
They're more alive.
More alive, more
okay.
real. People in Norway were more like robots. Everyone's doing the same thing, saying the same things, and it feels like you are inside a Truman Show where there is like a script written, and everyone follows it. Like what you eat on Tuesdays, what you eat on Fridays. On Fridays, everyone is supposed to clean their house, and on Saturday you do the big shopping, and then a Saturday night is a night where married couples have sex. It's actually planned. It's like it's a thing. You put it in your calendar, like put kids to bed, watch a movie on Netflix, and then have sex.
That's funny.
And then Sunday everything is closed, so the only thing to do is go po tour, which means go hiking somewhere in the forest or in the mountains or in the woods. And that's Norwegian dream. And the working days, you wake up really early. You sometimes deliver your kids to kindergarten already by 7 a.m. because the kindergartens are closing also early. Here kindergartens are working till 6 or 7 in the evening, so whenever your job finishes like regular office hours, you can go and get your kids. In Norway that's not the case, so you have to bring your kids to school or to kindergarten 7. That means that you must most likely wake up at around 6. I was living in Oslo, the capital, so it's distances to travel, and everyone is tired in the evening, so that's why sex can only happen on Saturday.
That's interesting. So everything is so organized.
Everything is really organized. Of course, it has the benefits of it as well, that people are less stressed. Here people have much higher level of stress because we're always running, we are late. And also the big difference is how things also work in business settings. Like in Norway there is a saying, the triple T, things take time.
Yeah.
Everything you require, it will be 1 month. Okay, we can do it here.
Yeah.
In business relationship, I'm calling I don't know, a graphic designer. I was like, hey, I quickly need logo for the shop I'm opening.
Yeah.
When do you need it? Well, I needed it yesterday, but tomorrow is fine.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, of course, but this is the big difference. We are living very dynamic here and now. Everything needs to happen here and now, and we don't have time to wait, and we are stressed out. We are working much more longer hours, not necessarily getting paid for that. In economy like Latvia's, you have to work more to, in the end, maybe make less or maybe make more, but you have to work much harder for that, and everyone is doing that, and yet still people find joy in simple things and in family relations and friends and partners and dancing and singing, because Latvians are known to be a nation that dances and sings. So that's what have helped us to go through really painful parts of history, that we always had our folklore. We are a very rich nation when it comes to folklore and culture. And so singing and dancing have helped us to manage through really hard times.
All right. I know we ordered, and they're pretty fast here, so our food is here. We're gonna try to continue
vegetarian English breakfast. Thank you, sir.
as we chat here. So she's not exactly an official guide, although she's been extremely helpful in that capacity.
I have a bachelor degree in tourism.
Oh, really? Okay, so this is perfect.
You're in good hands.
I'm in good hands, because guys, generally when I do these, I do like Airbnb experiences or booking or stuff like that, which there nothing in Riga. Nobody on Airbnb is doing tours. I don't know what company people normally use here, but you've been very helpful. Really, we talked about quite a few things. This country gained its independence in 1991. Like similar countries were part of the USSR, and you live to these moments from the Soviet times to now.
Yes.
So as we continue eating, and before we take a little break here, what can you share with people some of the biggest changes? And I know you're going to say everything, but if you're going to pick out of all the changes you've witnessed, what are some of those 2 or 3 things that are major between the transition from the USSR to now Latvia being its own independent country?
Yeah, so I was around 7-8 years old when Soviet Union time collapsed. I was in the first grade, and I experienced it really little, to say. What I remember the most as a kid, like there were really long queues, and I had to stand in those queues with my parents.
Long queues, huh?
Yeah, long queues for everything. Because like, if you know anything about Soviet Union time, there was the model of the economy was deficit. Like there was rules how much everything should be produced, and they produced less.
Yeah.
So like now we're living in absolute consumerism times, when there are hundreds of options for each product type. You have 50 types of milk and 100 types of cereal. In Soviet Union time, we didn't have that. There was 1 or 2 types of sausage, 3 types of red, white, dark, and in the middle. And then you had 2 types of juice, tomatoes or apples.
Yeah.
And it was way more simple. People had better health as well. We don't have all these problems that we have now. Because it's related, of course. The food was much more clean.
Yeah.
Now everything was produced locally, almost. Like we had our factories producing everything. Now everything is imported.
Yeah.
That's why they invited us to European Union. That's another story.
Oh wow.
So at that time we were pretty self-sustainable, and everything was freshly produced locally, and distributed in the nearby cities, and you got much better quality. It was much more clean.
Yeah.
And I remember that there was no selection like now. There was no overconsumption like now. But at the same time, from my childhood, I never have the memories of lacking something, because we still always had food on our table.
Yeah.
And when my father, he used to be a bus driver, and I'm from a small town by the sea, 200 kilometers from the capital. And he was a bus driver, and sometimes he was going to Riga. And whenever he went to Riga, he brought us something that we couldn't have in our town.
Yeah.
So we were happy about receiving this one specific type of dark breads. And like, imagine kids now, you bring them rye bread, they could yell at you and throw it at you.
Yeah.
But that time we had this like different appreciation of things and breads and tomatoes or strawberries or some things like that that he brought. It tasted just so good because our dad brought that for us from the capital city.
Yeah,
it could be like sausages or something, you know. We just were waiting for. It was never really about the sweets. I remember it was never about the sweets.
Yeah.
And everyone was really good at cooking because you didn't have the
Men and women. Or mostly women.
Women, yeah. We like East Europe has very traditional values.
So women will cook here generally.
Women are raised to be good wives, and that includes you must cook for your men. We have very traditional family values.
Is that expected from men?
Yes.
Okay.
It depends also on the age. The new generation, like below 40, are different, but 40 plus, they expect the woman to cook. It's like naturally at any event or party, women are just cooking and men are grilling meat.
Traditional.
That's their job. Like we have this. It's just nobody like arranges the jobs like that. It's just like automatically, men goes to the grill, starts the barbecue, and women go to the kitchen and start cutting the salad. It's just organically happening. Nobody agrees like this is what we do.
It's just the way it is.
And then when you need to carry some tables around, you always look for, hey guys, can you carry the tables?
Yeah.
Like, we still have that, and we are proud of that. And I am very strong, very very independent woman. And there is no way that I prefer to carry a heavy table. Like, no.
Right.
It doesn't make me. I can. And if there is no men around, our women are very strong, very, very strong. So there's nothing we can't do, and it's also part of our tradition, actually. And this is the thing that in the West, the feminism have taken a different kind of course. Here, women never had to fight for it. Just because we cook, we can also not cook. It's like you said, it's expected, but also there are all kind of different men, you know. So. I got married, I didn't know how to cook. Yeah. But I married a chef, that's why.
Makes sense.
It's always, my mother was telling me, you will not get married because you can't cook. And I was joking, Mom, it's okay, I can always marry a chef. And I did.
And that's exactly what you did.
Now I'm like, what the fuck I was thinking? I should have said, I'm going to marry a millionaire and he's going to hire a chef.
That's funny.
Like, duh.
So would you say that Latvian women are submissive in the general sense?
Latvian women are definitely expected and thought to be more on the submissive side. It's not seen as a plus in the society if you are a very strong and independent woman with high standards of quality for men. However, there are many women who are very, very strong. And this is the thing, like I've been having this discussion with my friends. Men don't want to admit this, okay? They will hate me for saying this, but it's okay. Like the most typical form of relationship in this country is actually secretly female-led relationships. And by female, I don't only mean the wife, I mean the wife and her mother. Okay. So on paper, men really truly thinks that they are the man, they decide everything. But in reality, it's how mother of the wife and wife will want and decide. And if the man don't go along with it, his life gonna be hell. Like that's the reality, the backstage of the submissiveness. Like we are kind of submissive, but our women are very smart, very educated, a lot of high level of emotional intelligence. Believe me, we get our ways, and we know that one of the best way how to get away is to be not come with aggressiveness and say I am a feminist, I need to get my ways.
You have your ways to get
We
it.
will find our way like a water, and we will wait for the right moment and ask in a very nice and submissive way what we want from our husbands. And because historically, let's look historically, since the more than 100 years ago, like the beginning of the 20th century, Latvia was a very high developed country. We had women driving cars, we had women following the newest trends from the Paris, we had started to have women in business already more than 100 years back.
Yeah.
And we never had to go and fight for it, like on the streets or protest. It's just like, okay, like always, we needed some men to trust and believe us, to help us to get to a position where we can show what
Makes
we
sense.
can do. But we never had to like go and aggressively fight for that. And that's the thing. Latvia is one of the first countries in the region that had a female president. Right now we have a female prime minister, we have female speakers, we have female CEOs of banks here. And it's just normal. We never had to go and talk about it and fight for it. It's still like, it's not a big deal. It just happens, you know.
So that whole submissiveness that we're talking about, would you say it's similar to the Russian culture in a sense, given the history between the two nations?
I mean, I really, unlike many Latvians, we hate to be compared to Russians. Like mentally wise and language wise, it's completely it's as similar as English language is to Greek. Different alphabet, different everything, and also mentality. It's very different. It's different genetics, right? And yet we have similarities because we lived together for so long. So we are our cuisine is influenced by the dishes, and we have 40% Russians, right, in our country. So of course we can't separate ourselves from them completely. But if you see a group of Latvians and a group of Russians like at a restaurant, you can tell immediately because the way they express themselves. Because you know, it's obvious.
Who's popping more bottles? Who's breaking? Who's spending more bread? Who's making it rain more? We just said the Russians.
I am an interior designer, and before I loved Russian clients. They were so much easier to work with. They're more cool, more easygoing. They don't count every little cent, you know. They're more generous. When I finish the project, they invite me for dinners. They give me presents. Like it's awesome. Such a big difference. I love Latvian clients too. Okay, but just if we talk about mentalities, Latvians are more practical, more down to earth, more reserved. And we say that Russian soul is so bright, it's so rich, it's full of emotions, and they can cry and love in 5 minutes. And
amazing.
Latvians are more the line is not so big contrast. But going back to the history, think about so before the Second World War, Latvian women were very advanced in many ways, and then the World War came, and what happens? Most of our men died. So that leaves, and even when before they died, they left the house, they went to the war, right? So what happened? Women were left behind. So women had to deal with everything at home, and we are generally farmers. So we are not talking like a lady is left alone in an apartment in center. We are talking woman is left alone in a countryside, in a farm,
right? And
she had to manage everything and deal with everything, and we did. So this is just the generation of my grandmother. Right? So we have generations of women who were alone. Their husbands were put to prisons or sent to Siberia or just killed or whatever. And they had to deal with everything. And those women raised children. A lot of them raised children alone. And then we have a big alcoholism problem. Almost 20% of our men are alcoholics. It's very sad. We have the highest consumption of alcohol in the European Union.
No way.
Yes, it's really, really sad. So again, you have 50% of women who has husband alcoholics, right? So you know what that means. The woman wears the pants because the man is busy drinking.
Right.
And even if he works and brings money, it's always unstable because he loses his job at some point and then he's jobless and then she has to take care of everything. So think of all that together, right? So we are a generation of women who have to just manage it no matter what. The husband can leave, he can go to war, he can be put to prison, and what stays behind is a woman, a mother. She has to take care of the house, of the household, of the children, and of course she has her mother helping her. So that's why we have very, very strong bonds with our families. In Norway, that's not the thing. Kids are very independent very soon at early age. When they are 18, they become more independent. Here we have very tight family bonds till the day you die or till the day your parent dies.
Right on.
We take care of them because they took care of us. They helped with our children. We always can count on, generally speaking. There are exceptions, but we can count. I can count that my mother, she would leave everything behind and come if I need her.
Yeah.
If I need her to watch my son or help me, she will like put everything on hold, what she can, and come and travel for 200 kilometers to help me.
Yeah.
And when she gets older, it's my duty to take care of her.
Right.
So this is how it works here. It's very old-fashioned, traditional values.
Okay.
And if we look even more back, like I'm coming from a small town, not so small actually, for me it's small, but it's the sixth biggest town in Latvia, called Ventspils. It's a town by the sea. So there, historically, we had fishermen, right? And the same thing, even that we talk about several centuries back, right? So when men went to fish, they went to sea for 1 week. Again, women were boss at the home.
Yeah,
because
sense.
she had to chop the wood and do everything. So it's very funny, like our old traditions, even older than more than 100 years back, we have this tradition, like when the food was served in the household, right? There was never a thing that men got served first. We are talking hundreds of years back in the fisherman village, in my part, west part. We have our own traditions, our own dialect, so it's like a specific tribes of people. So there was like a game. You put a bowl of the food in the middle, and then you like tapping the table and see who gets the bowl closer to him, and that person gets served first. It's a funny tradition, funny game, but it shows, right, that there was complete equality. Men don't get served first, even the dinner, just because he's a man. Because woman is as much of a man when that man of hers is in the sea fishing for a week.
Right.
So this is where we come from. And nowadays, yes, we have traditional values. It's common. A man pays for a dinner when we go. I have never in my life paid for dinner when I'm out with my brother or my father or my mom. That would be like unbelievable, because and nobody speaks about it. Nobody agrees about it. It's just
Your culture.
It's a culture.
All right.
But same time, like I can do whatever I must do, and our men respect. I think, at least in our family, like women are equally respected, and we never say like, "Oh, it's shut up, you're a woman," or things like that. Would be very, very, very insulting for any woman here, and that's not a thing.
All right.
But yeah, I'm like my observation is that there are so many marriages where the man is not an alcoholic, he is highly educated, a working professional, but in reality, and they even admit, they call the wife my government. My colleagues, my government. She's my government. Yeah. And always, whatever decisions they make, they have to first talk to the wife, and that shows very big respect, because our women are very highly educated, working professionals, and yet we are feminine. We really care how we look. We like to be feminine. We know how to be feminine. It's not an insult for us, not an open door for us. It's an insult if you don't. We don't mind you paying for our dinners, but of course it doesn't mean that we are in debt to you. It just means that it's like a compliment for us. If a man invites me and pays for my dinner, I'll say, okay, this is a date, this man is interested in me, and he's complimenting me. So that's how I see it.
Okay.
And I'm a strong independent woman, you know, right? Yeah. I'm working professional, raising my son alone, working in business, and I can pay for my dinner anytime. Yeah. It's not the thing. But it's like, it makes me feel more feminine, like, okay, this guy's interested in me, like, he wants to spoil me, so I can relax and be more into my feminine side, and every day I must take care of everything. So it's nice, like, strong women want that. Right. And I don't ever in my life see the meaning to my personality. Yeah. So that's me and many, many other women in this country.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Before the food gets cold, because we have to go visit, she's taking me to a place where most tourists don't go, because if you look at Riga videos, everybody goes to this place called Blackheads, which I will show you some visuals of that. There's some parks, there's some areas that are very touristy, and I'm trying to go off the beaten path a little bit as much as I can and show you those things. So we're going to go ahead and eat and continue the conversation about Riga shortly. I kept saying it looks like Prague. She's like, it's not Prague, it is Riga.
Yes, it's Riga. It's unique and authentic, and there's no place like that. Enjoy my Riga.
So this was the KGB headquarters right here. It's pretty chilling to come over here.
And it's really so much about how KGB was operating, how they were listening to people's conversations, monitoring everyone.
Anybody that was deemed questioning or going against the communist regime was interrogated, and many of them were assassinated.